When Lieutenant Mark Renard signed up for the Xeno-Diplomatic Escort Division, he never imagined his most vital mission would involve lying still under a weighted blanket with a six-limbed alien wrapped tightly around him. The planet, Zernta, had turned into a nightmare faster than any of their simulations predicted. The terraforming efforts had destabilized a subsurface biogas pocket, leading to toxic eruptions, electromagnetic storms, and atmospheric pressure drops. Within 6 hours, most human equipment failed. Within 8, only one CUM unit remained, operational. By the 12th hour, the human team had to retreat to the underground bunkers they built in theory, but never intended to use. That was where Mark first met LAA. She was one of the Juni, the native sapient species of Zunta, and part of the diplomatic liaison group. She stood over 7 feet tall, insectoid yet graceful, her carapace subtly shifting colors based on emotion. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark shelter as she watched the humans scramble for warmth and breathability. The Zerni, adapted for extremes, were far better suited to survival here. But Kela didn't leave. She stayed with the humans. More. Specifically, with Mark, they'd barely spoken before. A few gestures during perimeter tours, one translated joke during the debrief. But now, as the temperature dropped to deadly levels and oxygen reserves thinned, Kela approached him and said in a calm, translator-aided voice, "Cuddling is classified as survival behavior under threat of hypothermia or psychological collapse. Your pulse is irregular. Your scent contains cortisol. Come, I will assist." Mark blinked. "Cuddling? That's your solution?" But before he could protest, she had wrapped all 4 arms around him, gently but firmly pulling him into the insulated nest she constructed in the corner of the bunker. It was warmer there, significantly so, and surprisingly quiet, muffled from the groans of shifting rock and far-off thunder. Her body emitted a slow, radiant heat, and he could feel her thoracic plates expanding in calming rhythms dotted first. Mark stayed stiff, unsure what protocol said about alien cuddling. "Your tension is counterproductive," Kela whispered. "Relax. This is a mutual exchange. I'm distressed too." Something in her voice, or maybe the desperation of their situation, made Mark surrender to it. He let his muscles go slack and felt her arms tighten just a little. It should have been strange, but it wasn't. They stayed like that for hours. At one point, the emergency light dimmed, power rationing itself for night cycle. Mark shifted slightly and murmured, "Okay. I think I can get up for a bit." Kela didn't move. Instead, her hold became subtly firmer. "No, not yet. Your heart rate dropped below optimal 6 minutes ago. You require continued contact." He chuckled, unsure if she was being clinical or concerned. "You said it was survival behavior." "It is," she said, her tone unreadable. "And I am still surviving." There was a pause. Mark tried again. "I should at least stretch. I have calculated our optimal survival range. Movement is unnecessary. If you stretch, I may lose thermodynamic balance." A pause, "and I may lose you." That last part was whispered. He looked up into her deep-set eyes, reflecting the dim red light. She looked vulnerable for the first time, not as the confident Xeno ambassador or the capable survivalist, but as someone afraid. "You're scared," he said softly. Kela's shimmered blue-gray. "Your people have kindness, sacrifice, songs. You bled to protect our world from your machines. The storm does not scare me. But the loss of contact with what you represent, it terrifies me." Mark didn't answer for a long time. Then, slowly, he rested his head against her thorax again. "Then I guess," he said, "we survive a little longer." By the time extraction arrived, 2 days later, after a rogue drone made contact with orbit, the bunker was half collapsed, the air inside thin and barely warm. The rescue team found Lieutenant Mark Renard conscious, but unmoving, completely enclosed in a protective shell of alien limbs and soft thermal webs. they pried him free only with Kelaw's reluctant permission. When they offered to take her to a warmer pod or check her vitals, she refused to leave his side. Human units are fragile, she explained. Until stability is verified, I remain attached. No one argued. Later, in the orbital medbay, as Mark slowly came to from fluid therapy and oxygenation, he groaned, "Is she still here?" Kila, seated beside him, turned gently. "Yes, you still require monitoring," Mark smiled weakly. "You know, cuddling stopped being survival behavior the moment we left that bunker." Kala leaned in, her voice soft. "Then let it become cultural behavior. My people adapt. We are known for it." He didn't argue. He reached for her hand, the smaller of her four, and she let him hold it in the years that followed. Zerntha became Earth's closest non-human ally. New diplomatic protocols were developed, the first of which included prolonged physical bonding as trust building during crisis recovery. They called it the Kala Accord, and no one ever questioned why Earth's ambassador and the Zreni liaison insisted on sitting side by side during every single summit, often wrapped in the same blanket.